It's time for Yinz Guys RC.
Good morning. Welcome to episode 2 of Yinz Guys RC. It's February 5th here in the Northeast. It's pretty cold. So we're a little bundled up today, but don't worry. I'm sure we'll warm up pretty soon because today we're going to be talking about Lipo batteries. Everything from tiny single cell Lipo batteries up to 5,000 milliamp 4 cells, even though they come much bigger. But first, we're going to go to the mailbag because we received some fan mail. You can send fan mail too if you like. Send it to yinzguysrc@gmail.com. Got a letter here. Appears to be written in crayon, so I'm guessing it's from one of our younger readers. I like Yinz Guys RC. You're like baby Barney. I like Yinz Guys RC. You're like Barney. He thinks I'm like Barney. That's cute. And it's signed Dwayne Maxschmizzlemiggle, something or other. Well, thanks, Dwayne. And keep watching. And when you get bigger, we'll get you an RC plane and get you flying too. I'm going to be right back, and we're going to get started talking about Lipo batteries. So hang on. Alright, we're back talking about Lipo batteries today. And we're going to talk about different types of Lipo batteries, sizes, Lipo battery safety. We're not going to get into too much charging. We'll save that for another show. So, Lipo batteries, as you know, stand for lithium polymer. And they are what has made the huge leap in the electric RC field. 20 or so years ago when I first started flying, we had guys flying electric planes, but they were using homemade bricks of 24 to 30 soldered AA NiCads, and they didn't put a lot of power, and they didn't last very long. So, when the Lipo batteries became available, things really changed and got better. We now have high output, longer lasting batteries that, if you treat them right, will treat you right and last for a long time. This Sky Lipo here, this is a 3-cell 2200 milliamp 40C battery. I've had for 4 years, and it is as good today as it was the day I got it because I treat it right, and we're going to talk about that. So let's look at the single cell Lipo batteries. And this is the type of battery that you're going to get with something like the Blade Nano QX or the smaller helicopter, something like that. They usually come with a charger. They've got this proprietary little plug on them. And they've got this black collar, makes it so they only slide in one way. Plus, I don't know if you can see that, there's a red dot on there. You line up this red dot with the red dot on the other side here where it plugs into your unit, and you can't go wrong. You can't hook them up backwards and blow anything up. Basically, these come with a little battery charger. Plug it in the battery charger, you're good to go. These small type batteries are 150, 160 milliamp. Now, a little bigger is this 1-cell Lipo. This is a 250 milliamp. Now, this one is from Helimax. Those were from E-Flight. And this one actually uses a little USB dongle charger. You just plug it in and plug that into a computer or your cell phone power source. A light comes on. When it goes out, your battery's charged. Again, this is the same single cell Lipo. It doesn't need to be balanced because there's only one cell. Then we're going to move up into something like the 3-cell 2200 packs. Here is a 3-cell 2200 40C from Sky Lipo. And here is a 3-cell 2200 30C from E-Flight. They look very similar, and they are. And that 10C difference in output between them, you're never going to notice. Unless you're flying high-end EDFs, you're never going to notice that difference. Now, one of the things we want to talk about, if you're unfamiliar with Lipo batteries, is there are 2 separate leads on your Lipo battery. You have the smaller lead with a whole bunch of wires going to it depending on how many cells it is. And then you have the thicker leads with two wires, the red and the black, or it might be a black and a white. But these are your high amp input and output. You can charge high amperage through them, and they do the high amperage output for your aircraft. This is what's called the balance connector or the balance lead. This is what you plug into your charger to make sure that all the cells, there are 4 separate cells, or 3 in this battery, 3 separate cells are all charged to the same amount. And that's important in a LiPo battery. You always want a balanced charge. But like I said, we'll talk more about charging next week. Now, there are a multitude of battery manufacturers on the market, and there are a multitude of sizes and milliamp hours, C ratings. As you can see, here's just a selection of 4 batteries. These 2 we talked about are 2200 milliamp 3 cells. This is a 2200 milliamp 4 cell, and this is a 5000 milliamp 4 cell. You can buy up to, I believe, 8, maybe even 10 cells. Of course, you can always put them together either serially or serially or in parallel. And again, we'll talk about that later. One thing you're going to notice is that depending on where you buy your battery from, you may not get a connector on the end, or it may have a different type of connector. This type of connector that we have on here is called an ultra Yinz plug. Some people call it a T plug because it looks like a T. That's just what I prefer to use. There are many others. There are EC3 connectors, and their big brother, the EC5 connector, which are used on a lot of the larger blade type helicopters. There are XT60 connectors, Anderson power poles. Some people simply use plain old bullet connectors, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you just got to make sure you don't plug them in backwards, or else boom. So let's talk a little bit about how to set up and charge your LiPo batteries. Now, we're assuming you're new to this. If you're not, you already know what I'm talking about. Send me an email if I say something wrong. yinzguysrc@gmail.com. So let's take our basic 3-cell 2200 milliamp battery. This is probably, where I fly in the Pittsburgh area, the most popular battery out there. This is the battery that comes with all of your E-Flight type aircraft. Anything in that 40 to 50 inch range foamy is basically going to run on this type of battery. Now, this is a 3-cell, 11.1 volt, 2200 milliamp hours, and its output is 30 C. Now, I've said C a whole bunch of times, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, C is an output multiplier, basically. So if your battery is rated at 2200 milliamps, divide that by 1,000, you'll get 2.2 amps. Well, if you multiply that by 30, you're going to get the total output of your battery. And that's going to tell you what your battery is capable of doing. If you push it past that, that's when batteries get hot, and that's when they puff up, and that is bad for your LiPo. You want your LiPo battery to be warm. If you're flying in these cold winter months, keep it on an inside pocket in your jacket, keep it in your warm car or vehicle till you're ready to fly. Cold LiPos don't perform well. So you want your LiPo at room temperature, 50, 60, 70 degrees when you're ready to use it. And when it comes down, you want it to be around 100 degrees. If your LiPo comes back down warm to the touch, meaning it's warmer than your skin, so not hot, just warmer than your skin. See, when you feel like feeling your kid's forehead, oh, it feels warm, then you've got your power output just right for this battery, and it'll last a long time. So the next thing we're going to talk about is battery charging and how to set up to charge your batteries. So we'll be right back with that. All right, we're going to talk just a little quick bit about charging. We're going to have a whole nother show on ways to charge, parallel charging and stuff like that, but I just want to show you a basic simple setup for 1C charging, which is what I recommend for long battery life. Now, we're going to look at 2 simple types of chargers here, what I'm going to call a stupid charger and a smart charger. Now, the stupid charger is what comes with your planes from Park Zone, stuff like that. It's basically foolproof. It has a little dial here for amps. It asks you 2-cell or 3-cell, and it has a start-stop button. You've got to hook it up to a battery. It doesn't have an AC adapter. So you can hook it to your car battery. You can use a tractor battery. I take a big marine deep cycle battery with me to our field that doesn't have power. It lasts me all day, no problem. So what you do is you plug in your battery, and this charges through that low amperage balance charge. So it's going to take longer to charge than a smart charger. We'll talk about that in a second. I'm flip the switch to 3-cell, turn the dial to about halfway between 2 and 3 amps, because there's no way with a dumb charger, a stupid charger, you're going to be able to tell it 2.2. 2200 divided by 1000, remember, is 2.2 amps. That's 1C. That's where you want to charge your battery, 1C. Then you press this button, you hold it for a couple seconds, it goes beep beep, lights come on, they tell you when it's done. That's your dumb or stupid charger, and it's basically foolproof. You don't have to worry about it. Next, you have a smart charger, which is a little more involved. Now, on this type of charger, the balance board is on the side. So you find where your battery is going to fit, plug it in, and then you plug in your charge leads. I don't have the right connector on here. This will plug in here, and then you're going to go through here and set it up and tell it exactly what you want it to do. So for this 3-cell battery, what you're going to want to do is just follow the directions. The first thing it's asking you for, and I know you can't see this on here, so I'm going to try and do a picture-in-picture to help you see it better and explain what I'm talking about. It's asking you charge type. Do you want to fast charge, balance charge, discharge, or cycle? I recommend you always balance charge your Lipo, so I'm going to spin the dial to balance charge, click the button to set it. Now it's blinking 3S. If I turn it up, it'll go 4S, 5S, 6S. If I turn it down, it'll go 5S, 4S, 3S, 2S, 1S. How many cells? So 3 cells. 1, 2, 3S is blinking. I click it, it's set again. Now the last thing it says is charge yes, no. Hold the button in. It goes through its battery check to make sure the battery's good. Fan comes on, light comes on. With this charger, this will take about 15 minutes to charge the battery. It plays a little song when it's done. Most of your smart chargers are just like that. And that's pretty much as simple as it gets. Like I said, we'll talk about charging in depth, different settings, parallel charging in another show. That's all for this week. Next week we're going to have a special guest, Jeff Wilson. We're going to talk about gasoline motors. So until then, keep them flying.
Thanks for watching. Now get out of here.